If you enjoyed this episode, please support this podcast by going to talkmurder.com/join and becoming a Taco Supremo.
Hey tacos, bundle up because tonight we're working abroad hoping to catch an uncatchable serial killer. Already claiming 40 victims, this Muzik gets his jollies by sneaking in your window and snatching your grannies up. Yep, that's right. Known to police as the granny sadist, this Shuvak likes his women aged like fine Russian vodka, and his bloody lust for geriatric gore marks this pubescent, barely any hair down there as the ultimate Volga Maniac. All right, so we're just going to jump right into tonight's story.
You didn't give me a hint.
I didn't give you a hint, but I am drinking some vodka.
Some Nipatati vodka.
Yep. So
the best.
Well, I'm drinking that because of the place we're going tonight.
Russia?
We are going to Russia.
Wow, okay.
I don't think we've done a Russian story ever.
No, we have not.
But we are going to the Volga River. Do you know where that's at?
I don't. Russia is a pretty big country, so I am not familiar. I did have to memorize, though, back when I took a politics of Russia course when I was in college, because I was a poli-sci major, and it was hands down the most fascinating course I've ever taken. But we had to learn all of the former Soviet countries.
Really?
And we were quizzed on that.
So here's the Volga River right here. It's to the east of Ukraine and Belarus.
North of Georgia.
And west of Kazakhstan, which I've been to one time.
Oh, really?
I've been there, and Kyrgyzstan.
Which one's the one where Borat's from? Is it Kazakhstan?
He is from, I think it's Kazakhstan or Kyrgyzstan.
I think Kazakhstan. I want to say.
Yeah, I can't remember. His sister was like, my sister's the number one prostitute in Kyrgyzstan.
This is Natalia. She is my sister. She is number 4 prostitute in all of Kazakhstan. Nice.
Man, that movie was so big when it came out.
Yeah.
So big.
So here's the Volga River right here. It's freaking huge.
Wow, that is a very wide river.
This river has its own Google reviews.
Wow, that's a lot of reviews. It has more reviews on this river than we do on this podcast.
Yeah, holy shit.
Oh my God. There's literally 5,000 reviews on there.
I didn't know you can review a river. The Volga River is the longest river in Europe.
Oh, that's a fun fact.
And one of Russia's most important rivers. Out of the 20 largest cities of Russia, 11, including its capital Moscow, are situated on the Volga's drainage basin. It originates at an elevation of only 225 meters, which is 740 feet, in the Valdai Hills northwest of Moscow, and discharges further into the Caspian Sea. The Volga River is great importance to inland shipping and transportation in Russia. So this is their lifeblood.
Wow, that's quite the review from this person on Google Reviews.
I didn't know you could review a river.
Oh my gosh, it's got 4.7 stars on Google Reviews with, oh my gosh, almost 8,000 reviews.
Yeah, what kind of asshole?
I can see things. By Poop Fart.
Poop Fart reviewed it at 3 stars.
And he said, I can see things. That was
Holy
5
shit.
months ago. Someone else said, it's pretty all right. But then another person said it's fantastic.
Very
I love
bad.
It.
Mustafi says it's very bad.
These are real reviews or if these are paid reviews.
Who's going to pay for this shit?
I don't know. The Russian government? This seems like something Putin would do.
Yeah, he's busy doing other shit.
Did you know that one of the so as I was saying, I took a course in politics of Russia, and it was fascinating. I mean, they do all this like propaganda stuff still in Russia, you know, and Putin had a contest of this, like someone gifted him a puppy and he had this national contest of like what should he name his dog. There's a video of him, you know, petting a Siberian tiger like without a shirt. I mean, it's pretty wild.
So tonight we're covering a serial killer called the Volga Maniac. He has killed 32 females.
Oh, wow.
And he is on CCTV. His face is out there, yet no one knows who this guy is at all.
I want to say, isn't like supposedly the most, I mean, we hear this word thrown around all the time, like the most prolific serial killers from Russia, like confirmed kills?
No, the most, I mean...
I don't know. I have no idea what the guy's name is.
No,
but
the most confirmed kills would be like that dude from the Nazi guy. I mean, if you want to call him a serial killer.
But I want to say there was one, and it's like nearly 100 confirmed.
Oh, we've covered way more than that.
Confirmed, confessed.
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe.
I mean,
maybe it's all just
Cullen, Charles Cullen, the nurse of death we covered. He has way more than that.
Well, that was not all of that's confirmed.
Samuel Little, he's up there. Also, you have Harold Shipman. He's got a lot.
We haven't covered him. I don't know much about him.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of prolific serial killers. So this is actually a really crazy story because it's a serial killer, 32 victims, yet there is no information on this case.
Why?
At all.
Or was the Russian government trying to cover it up?
I think the Russian government may be involved.
Oh, that's also common. That's a very common thing.
And I'll talk about why I believe that in a minute. But this is crazy because this guy is on a rampage.
What year time frame are we talking? Because you would think that the government being involved in something like that is, that's from the Soviet days. Oh no, the KGB may not be in existence anymore, but they have a new It's just new initials now.
Yeah, well, this isn't really a KGB type of assassination murder or anything. It may actually be a deranged serial killer, but it's from a 1-year period, 32 people.
Wow.
March 2011 to September 2012 within multiple Russian federations.
Wow. So he was...
he's a traveler.
He was popping right around that time I was taking that college course.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that was...
You may have even ran into him.
2010 to 2011. No, I didn't. I never went to Russia.
Okay.
It
Which
was
you wouldn't have to worry about.
Not really safe even back then to travel.
Well, if you would have ran into this guy anyway, you're not his type.
Why?
No, because
I'm kind of
you're
offended.
not.
I mean, you said that just so matter of factly.
Well, you're not 75 to 90 years old.
This is true. I guess I would feel pretty bad about myself.
This is the granny slayer of Russia. And he is...
I mean, we've talked about preying on poor innocent people, you know, the nurse or angels of death type killers. But I can't really think of one where the killer actively goes after elderly people without them being already in a hospital care.
Well, no, they're not. And actually...
Is he just a really shitty serial killer and he can
No, he's
only
apparently
get
a really great serial killer
people?
Because he's not been caught. I'll go over his...
Wow.
Yeah, he's not been caught. We don't know who he is. And I'll go over his MO here in a second. But the reason the story's so crazy is because you can't even find the victim names anywhere. It's like the Russians... I don't know if they're covering up. I just don't think they really care. I mean, he's killing old people, and I'll get into my thoughts about this later, but these are pensioners. You know, these are people on government pensions, which makes sense. You have Putin that doesn't want to pay these pensions, you know, hires this hitman to go out and starts snuffing out these grannies. And it seems to be what's happening right now.
That is, I mean, I had to write a thesis paper about journalists in Russia. And I mean, it was, like I said, stuff from the movies where people would have their fingers cut off if they wrote something unfavorable to the government. It's prominent.
Yeah,
they'd kill people, kidnap people, chop off people's fingers so they wouldn't write another bad word.
People talk shit about America, man, but I'm telling you, I've been to countries like that, and dude, if you're a woman over in some of those countries I've been to, if you even look at a man, you could get stoned to death. You know, if you even look up instead of looking down when you're walking, you could get tortured and murdered by your husband and by the government. I'm not saying this is the best country in the world. We're definitely far from that shit. I think like Sweden's like the best country. But this is a pretty damn good country compared.
We doing all right.
We're doing pretty good. And the freedom, I'm telling you. Freedom.
America. Fuck yeah.
And I only say that because I've been all those shitholes.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get right on into this crazy story. This is the Volga Maniac. He is running rampant. Now, he only killed between that 1 year period between March 2011 and September 2012. His first 9 murders took place in Kazan. And I'm actually looking at some information on Kazan right now. It's one of the Kazan. Yeah, it's actually one of the largest cities in Russia. It's one of the most popular cities from what I've seen. A population of 1,245,000. It's about 500 miles east of Moscow. And have you ever heard of Kazan?
I have not.
So this is Kazan right here. Oh, by the way, if you're new here, this is your first episode, welcome to Talk Murder to Me. And also I put all my sources, all my photos, and a video that you have got to see, because this is a serial killer, 32 victims, yet we have them on video. You got to see this. Go to talkmurder.com, is right there, and click on the Volga Maniac post and follow along with us tonight.
I have always wanted to go to Russia.
I've never been. Well, besides those little countries.
Yeah, I've made it as far as Poland.
Yeah.
East. But I would like to go. It was definitely not still really hard to enter the country back in 2011, 2012 when I was over in Europe. But it seems, I just like to visit, to learn, and bring a lot of cash with you to pay people off still, and you be good. You be good.
So this is the 6th most populous city in Russia, and actually it's the 2018 spot for the FIFA World Cup, which Americans don't give a shit about.
Wait, what year?
2018.
Oh, really?
FIFA World, yeah.
Oh, I thought that was the same place where they had Sochi. Is it near Sochi?
No, that's the Olympics.
I know. I thought they put it in the same spot because they couldn't build more than one venue.
Oh no, this was in Kazan, which we don't know about that over here because we watch football, not football.
Football is a different thing.
So for tonight, I pulled together all the information I can, but like I said, even though it's a serial killer, there is hardly any information out there. And I'm not even talking web pages and newspapers in Russian, because even those that you can get translated with Google Translate, they're still not out there. It's literally like they don't give a shit about this serial killer, which is probably pretty accurate.
I think there's also a good deal of, it could just also be censorship. Like they don't want the press of a serial killer running around.
Let's talk about this guy's MO, and we know he's a man, obviously, because there is CCTV footage of this guy. He's not wearing a mask or anything. He's walking straight into apartment buildings. Now, obviously, these elderly ladies live alone. What do you think his MO is? Just give me a ballpark.
I feel like...
Why is he killing all these women, these elderly women?
Because they're easy to kill?
So he just likes to kill? He was... Actually,
he could be robbing them. Like, is he targeting rich women who may have some jewels?
No, because he is targeting pensioners. So those living off the government.
So they don't have a lot of money.
They don't have a lot of money, no. And they're in kind of the lower end apartments in Russia. They all live alone, obviously.
Is he into like a freaky deaky stuff?
from what the Russians put out, and like you said, they may be censoring it, I don't think so. Even though Russian police did call him, quote, a granny sadist, which is, but I don't think that means he's sexually assaulting them. But I will tell you, he's not taking any of the money or jewelry found in the apartments. It's actually a really crazy MO. So here's what he does. He goes into these little apartment buildings, and he actually has a sheet of paper, well, a few sheets of paper with names on them, from what we can see in the CCTV video, which you're about to watch, of pensioners, basically elderly women living off the government pensions. And he poses as a maintenance worker in the apartment building. Whatever apartments he's in, he goes, knocks up to the door. He pretends he's maintenance. Housekeeping, you want mint on pillow type of shit, you know? And then that's where he gets in. And basically these old grandmas just let him in the door. These are 75-year-old ladies to 90. Most of them ranging in the 90
It just doesn't make any. I mean, he's hasn't been caught, so I know we can't get answers. Was like, why would somebody target that group of people?
Well, he strangles the women with their own household items. He's used a bathrobe, a belt, a pillowcase. He's used clotheslines, even an iron cord.
Ooh.
Yeah, so he never brings his own stuff, but he does use stuff at the house.
Interesting.
And honestly, he's not really worried about his DNA
And he's
escaping.
not coming in the middle of the night. He's coming in broad daylight.
He's coming in broad daylight, yeah. And the Russian police actually have his DNA on file. In 2012, one of his last murders, he left his DNA on a handkerchief and a flashlight. So basically his fingerprints, his skin cells or whatever with the DNA in it. So we have his DNA. It obviously is not in any database at all, but he's not really worried about, almost like he's not worried about getting caught, which is why I think the government is funding this guy to do this. Because as you'll see in the video, he brings a list of people to kill. Like a kill list. That's what I'm saying here. Just watch the video. I will show you the video in a second.
That's coming together now.
If you want to read this is from Alexander Shuga. He is the senior assistant to the head of Svrgatsky Region Investigative Committee.
The police are after a serial killer who murders lonely elderly women. A criminal investigation is launched under Article 105, Murder of the Russian Criminal Code.
So he leaves the money and jewelry behind. Police dubbed him as a sadist because he has no interest in the money. So obviously he's killing for some sort of pleasure, even though I didn't see anywhere where he's sexually assaulting these old ladies. And he also leaves behind personal items around the body, which is really weird. For instance, an ID card. So if you go kill someone here in America, you take their wallet, take their driver's license out, and then put it on their body. That's kind of what he's doing over there. And he uses, if he can't find the ID card, he puts medical records or whatever. It's just really odd why he's doing that.
Well, we know it's targeted, but it feels to me, and maybe this is just because I've seen like too many Jason Bourne movies, but you would think that if it's a hitman, you know, contracted by the government or something like that, that it would be as if no one knew it was a murder. You know what I mean? Like it would be, they died of natural causes and we would not even be talking about this. You know?
Yeah, but here's the thing with that. There are surviving witnesses that he actually got spooked, heard someone coming. There's a couple that the family members actually showed up and he had to abort the mission and stuff like that. So it's not like they're dying of elderly causes when there's a strange man running out of their apartment, you know. And
I mean, even for the people though who he had killed, I maybe that's just again me watching too many movies about Mission Impossible, or I don't know, that you would think that a government involvement would be way more stealth.
Yeah, so here's the CCTV video. just watch this, and I think this will explain a lot better this guy's MO. Go to talkmore.com. You do not want to miss this video. You have to see it. This is just a broad view, what you're seeing. You see the Volga Maniac walking through the parking lot. The date on this is 2012, September 26th at 3:30 p.m. He is walking up the stairs. We see him right there. You see that list in his hand? It's literally like he has a clipboard with names on it. He is walking up the stairs right now with the list in his hand. I want to pause it for just a second because you saw him walking up the stairs. I want to point out that once he was killing victims within all floors of the apartment. However, in 2012, one of the victim's family members showed up and they could hear the rustling in the doors. Help me! And the old granny is screaming. So the family busts down the door and the Volga Maniac leaps off the balcony and he's on the 3rd floor.
Wow. So
after that, he created a new rule for himself that he never kills over the 2nd floor.
Oh.
So if you're below the 3rd floor, then you have to worry. But if you're above, you're safe because he's not going to kill you because he doesn't want to go in that situation again. I think he got really hurt. So
it almost makes me think that it is a like KGB wannabe and not actually the KGB.
I'll get to this in a minute, but he might actually be a copycat because this isn't the first person that was killing using this same MO. And that person was actually caught. So this may be a copycat.
You know, he looks like, between the video and the sketch, he looks like a combination of Ringo from the Beatles and Spock from Star Wars.
Yeah, police describe him as Asian descent. They actually have a pretty good idea.
He's got like a bowl cut.
Yeah, they actually have a pretty good idea of what village he comes from. And I'll get to that here in a second because I can't pronounce it without looking at it. And he's knocking on the door right now to see if they're answering. You see him flipping pages like he's got a list here.
Who's here? Yeah. So maybe he hacked into some sort of government database just to find who is on this government assistance.
Yeah, I don't know. But here's a crazy little photo I found. This is actually a wanted poster in Russian. Obviously, you can't read it because it's all in Russian, but kind of cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Now check this.
He looks young.
Right?
He's probably
25
in his 30s.
Around this time, 25 to 35, I believe, was the age. And I want to say, and I'm going to get to this in a little bit, he abruptly stopped in 2012 after he almost got caught, and he went silent. But recently, here in 2018, he started back up again. And we've seen this kind of behavior in people like the Golden State Killer and stuff like that. If you're a serial killer, you don't just stop, you know? You may take a break or a hiatus, but you're probably going to keep going until you get too old, like the Golden State Killer, and decide to spend time with your grandchildren and stuff like that. But check this video out. Tell me what you think about this. Go to talkmore.com. This is a crazy video here. This is more CCTV footage. So there we see his face.
Oh, you get a pretty damn good look at his face.
Yeah, you see his face. You see his hair.
Holy shit. Yeah, quite the bowl cut.
And you see, he's kind of looking through the door right there, and he does not notice the camera, but when he does, he's looking at the camera now. He's like, oh, dude.
He knows
he tries to cover his face. You see that? He's looking down. Yeah, he sees the camera. It's one of those, I don't know if it's obviously not one of those Ring cameras that are over here, but it's kind of like the same thing, like doorbell camera. So he kind of notices it, and he looks down, but that's as much as he's doing as far as not trying to get caught. And then he walks away and he goes to a different apartment building. You'll see him getting in the elevator. This is the elevator right there. He's got that clipboard full of names. And this is a pretty high definition of video,
oh
guys.
My God, you can see his face so clearly.
You can see his face, guys. This is probably the first time in history where we have a serial killer that you can see his face.
Oh my God.
And it's not grainy CCTV. This is like high definition CCTV.
Oh,
Do you
my
see?
goodness.
He opens the elevator. He notices the camera.
He's got a little baby mustache. He's got like a puberty mustache.
There he is coming in again. He's just very weird and just.
How have they not caught this guy?
I know, right? Well, I was thinking a lot about that. How have they not caught this guy? He may be one of those people, like, for instance, Charles Sabraj.
Yeah.
The Charles Sabraj, the Serpentine story that we did.
That was a great story.
He was basically not registered to any country until he was like 25. So he could be the same way. He could not be registered. He could not have any documentation, any information. He could have been living on the streets.
But you would think that with such clear image of his face, that just by putting pictures and putting that on the news, that people would recognize him. Be like, yo, I saw that guy at the corner deli.
I mean, well, when he does, when this video did come out and they did push it on the media a little bit, is when he moved locales and he went to a different
how far
federation.
Away? Oh.
About 400 miles.
Oh, yeah, sizable.
He doesn't seem like he's coming from wealth because you see he's kind of wearing a straggly hoodie.
Could just be
but
a
yet
millennial.
He's not stealing any of the money after he's strangling these women. Plus the fact that he's got that clipboard with the names on it makes me think that old Putin boy is involved in this somehow, because they don't want to keep paying out these pensions. Now, they believe he comes from the Udmurtia region of Russia. Don't ask me because I don't know what the hell. I do know that it is the home of the Kalashnikov rifle. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's the most recognizable and used weapon in the world. It is also known as the AK-47.
Well, this was one of the things that I learned in that class. Russia is a huge country. Huge. And so when you think about the different, types of looks of types of people, it really spans a lot of different cultures. And so there's, like Inuit, if you will, folks. There's the blonde hair, blue-eyed Russian. It's all walks of life.
Well, the region that he's supposedly from is the majority of Sunni Muslims. Yeah, so we have the guy's face, and it's pretty clear.
Incredibly clear. I mean, you would think that we were dealing with the situation of like the Delphi murder, where you would just see this guy in a hood, no face.
Yeah, I mean, because that is the Delphi murder. That's hard. Not hard. I mean, it's a lot harder to see that. But look at this guy. You can see his face clear as day. That's him.
Oh, my gosh.
That's his face. And it matches the sketches that the surviving victims came out and said that he looked like. I mean, that's the sketch that some of the surviving victims gave. And that's him. So they think he is of Asian descent. And he is from that one part of Russia. So, I mean, you got to see this photo, guys.
Wow.
That is the killer right there.
Yeah, clear as day.
Clear as day. And he's looking at the camera like, oh, shit.
Yeah, he sees
it. Is that a
it.
camera?
Oops.
I mean, his face is just so... I mean, you see every feature.
Yep.
High definition. Everything.
So he's got very, very dark brown or hair or black hair. He's got... I don't know. I don't think he maybe... Asian, but he could be like maybe Inuit, and he's got pretty big eyes, thick brows, but a very light, faint little mustache, like he's going through puberty.
Well, I didn't mean to say he's Asian, like Chinese or Japanese. I meant like Mongolian type of Asian.
From that type of from that region of Russia. Yeah. I mean, and here you can really tell he's in his 20s. I mean, he's a young kid. Yeah.
So here's some information I pulled from the Siberian Times Reporter, dated 4th of November 2013. They talk about how the police offered a 1 million ruble reward, which is about $31,000, and that was in 2012. The women, like I said, were between 75 and 90 years old. They do live alone, and they do live off government pensions. He has killed 32 victims. Then he stopped in 2012 abruptly because he almost got caught. And then he starts back up 2018, and he's already logged about 4 more, probably a lot more. It's just really hard to find information on this guy. For a serial killer that kills so many people, you would think there's at least the victims' names.
Right.
But we can't even find that. So
wow.
It kind of makes me think that he is being paid by the Russian Federation, but that's just speculation. I do want to say that he may be a copycat killer. Now, I don't know about this woman besides what I've researched for this story, but this right here is Satan in a Skirt.
What?
That is her moniker. Her real name is Irina Gadimachuk, and I'm probably pronounced that correctly. Now, she is 46 years old now. She killed 17 elderly women in the exact same way. The only difference is instead of posing as a maintenance worker for the apartment, she posed as a social worker to come and do welfare checks on the elderly. But she gets access to their apartment. And her spree was also in the Ural district, which is the same as him.
Okay.
And she was jailed for 20 years.
That's it?
That's it.
Wow, that sounds like a sentence that you would give her, John.
Oh, shit. Look at her.
Mr.
She's
Lady
smiling
Killer.
now. She's out of prison.
Honestly, at first glance, I thought that was Chrissy Teigen.
Who?
She's a model. She's married to John Legend.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know who that is. But she is actually, you can tell she kind of comes from wealth.
She's pretty.
Yeah, and she did her 20 years, so.
She's out now?
Yeah.
Damn.
That's why I'm saying I think it's more of a Russian plot to kill the pensioners. Because this guy, you saw him, he's bringing a clipboard with names. Come on,
Studious.
man. That's kind of ridiculous. Where's he getting that shit?
I mean, it still
You
seems...
can't just get that stuff off the internet, man.
It's
Like,
very...
who's getting what from the government? Come
No,
on.
you could... I mean, you can hack that.
You think that kid hacks? He probably doesn't even have a computer.
I don't know. Do you think the KGB hired him?
I think something in the
Or the
government.
FSB? I think that's what the new KGB
I think this is a government
called.
plot, but I'm just speculating.
I don't think it's a government plot. I think he wishes he was a part of the FSB.
But he may be a copycat killer of this the Satan in a Skirt, which is kind of crazy because she killed 17. He's up to 36. This is all speculation because no one knows this guy besides the high definition photo we have of his face.
Clear
But
as day.
The police get out and say that he may have grown up with a grandmother caretaker who probably molested him or some way or the other. And now he's kind of getting vengeance on all the old grannies in Russia. I don't know. That just sounds kind of ridiculous. I don't know, man. But the thing is, there's no information about this case besides what I can dig up here.
So can you go back? So he killed 9 people.
Yeah, he killed 9 people. And this isn't
in the... What was it?
Kazan region.
In Kazan.
Yeah.
And then he stops.
No, he doesn't stop. He just moves locales.
Okay, so this is all in the same year.
Yeah,
still.
so this is a 1-year period. And then he stops in 2012 in September, and then he's back again.
In 2018. And how many does he kill in 2018 and
Well, I'm
where?
about to go over that right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he killed 32 in the 1-year period.
Yeah.
Okay.
One survivor from August 2011, which I can't find in any information besides this one website. She says that her head was hit repeatedly from behind, which doesn't really sound like the same killer, but I believe this was one of the first. He did start in March, and he usually strangles the victims, but he beat this woman in the head multiple times. She actually survived, and she is the one that gave us that sketch. The sketch comes out, and then, only then, after the sketch comes out, do we get the CCTV footage. And as Nicole would tell you, I mean, it's a exact match almost. It's the same guy.
Incredibly close.
All right, this right here is from the Toronto Sun. The title of this is Has Russian Serial Killer Volga Maniac Made Bloody Return? Now, this is dated June 11th, 2019. I'm going to summarize it here for you. It says, according to the Russian cops, the latest murders were eerily similar to the cold cases that have vexed them for years. The latest murders, a woman, 68, and check this out. Talk about escalating, like the Golden State Killer, you know how he escalates. He started as a Visalia ransacker, and then he escalates to murder. Check this out. Latest murders, a woman, 68, and her husband of 72 years old were strangled.
Oh.
So now he's doing couples. 3 days later, about 170 kilometers away, another couple, 82 and 83, were axed in the head to death.
Whoa.
So,
and he was only strangling people before.
so now he's getting more deranged.
That is very similar to the Golden State Killer.
It's crazy because he's not doing this for monetary gain. He's not doing this for sexual pleasure. He's doing this almost as a vengeance or something.
Or he just really likes killing people, and for whatever reason, he really wants to kill old people.
So the police now are offering a $65,000 reward to catch this guy. Like I said, his face is clear as day, man. It's kind of crazy. It's like the first serial killer that has been caught on CCTV in high definition.
And is still walking around.
But that makes me think that he is kind of a vagrant. You know, he travels from place to place. Here, I'm going to show you.
You would just think that with an image so clear, somebody would have seen him.
Yeah. This is a little bit about his description. And if you see the video, you can kind of see this for yourself. But this is from the Siberian Times Reporter, dated the 4th of November, 2013. Male, obviously, 22 to 35. Now he would be about 40 years old, maybe.
Yep.
170 to 175 centimeters tall, which I believe is like 6 feet. He's slim build, has Asian features, and like Nicole said, it's more of the Urdish, or what'd you say? Mongolian type of Asian.
The Ural Mountains is like that's the region.
Ural Mountain. Yeah, exactly. That's where he was killing. Yeah. His upbringing was in the city. That's speculation. I mean, they're trying to profile this guy. I don't know why they think that. I wonder, city
maybe
it's
his clothes. He's got like a hoodie and a
maybe.
You know?
They believe he was brought up by an elderly female grandmother that either tortured or molested him or something. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, I guess that could make sense.
He is a loner, and that's obvious because he hasn't been turned in by anybody.
Yep.
And they actually have his foot size, which is 40 to 41.
Wow.
Which is weird because over here it's like my foot size is like 11 and a half. So I guess they use a different system.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
And he is from low social wealth. But I mean, guys, for someone that has killed 32 people and is continuing to kill this to this day, that's all you're going to get. That's all you're going to get from anybody, man. That is all we know about this serial killer.
Do we have any listeners in Russia? Maybe we're banned in Russia. It's possible.
I don't know.
Just say maybe we can help catch this guy.
I don't know. I think he will be caught because, I mean, his face is on the freaking camera, man. And it's not like some grainy ass footage. This is like some high definition Google Nest Cam.
I cannot believe how visible his features are. It's crazy.
Yeah, but honestly, that's the story. That
you
is the story.
You would think with enough like TikToks and Facebook out there that they would be able to just use a facial recognition software and find him.
Yeah, but like I said, I mean, these are old people, you know?
No, but just using the technology that's out there and matching his face with
I thought about doing that.
You know, isn't like face swap a Russian?
Yeah, but I don't think he has a face. I mean, if you did that to me, you wouldn't find me.
He's got nothing. No, I mean...
He doesn't seem like a kid with a social media profile.
You never know.
And yes, I say kid because he looks like a kid.
Yeah, he does.
You know?
He's got just little whiskers on his face.
So this kid that can barely shave, you know, got a little stubble on his gonads.
No, yeah. He's like too proud of his mustache to shave it off.
Yeah. So that is the Volga Maniac.
Wow.
Definitely go to talkmurder.com if you want to see the guy's face in high def. But that's crazy, man. I mean, I don't know what else to think besides that the Russians are kind of behind all this.
Do you think that there is an involvement?
Yeah, I do. 100%. Because, dude, I mean, think about it. Like, all right, for instance, and I didn't go into this, but, you know, in America, we're getting to a point where the triangle, the social triangle, if you will, which is used to be, and this is how it used to work, is the young people like us, these young gunners, you know, kind of, oh, I'm ready to tackle the world. We work our hardest. We put into Social Security and stuff like that, so we can take care of the old timers that can't do anything because, you know, they can barely walk. Well, now people are living a lot longer, so that triangle, which was used to be tiny at the top of old people, is now becoming the broader section at the top, and we're having more people live a lot longer. So that system really doesn't work anymore.
Well, plus it's the baby boomers that are getting older, and there's a lot of them.
Well, the system really doesn't work anymore because if you got, let's say, 40% of the young guns putting in for 60% of the old people, that doesn't match up anymore. But it used to be different. So, I mean, I'm not saying that the Russians are involved, but I mean, the dude is carrying a freaking
and just
clipboard.
starting to take him out.
He's carrying a clipboard with addresses and names on it. I mean, dude, what?
I mean, I feel like it's clumsy.
And plus,
I don't know. I think he's a wannabe.
Plus, there is no freaking news about this, man. And the other girl that did this got 20 years. 20 years. She killed 17 people, got 20 years. But that also
could be biased because she's a female and they've
20 years for 17 people?
They don't want to.
They're probably like, all right, you promised not to tell that we paid you to do this? I'm just saying.
I don't know.
Anyway, that's what you're going to get on the Volga Maniac. That is a story that I wanted to do. And unfortunately, that's all I can find. There's no newspapers or anything out there. Is all, man. It's
Help us find this guy.
And not only that, it's not really shared. So, for instance, the Daily Mail, they ran an article about it, maybe shared 40 times.
Wow.
A couple comments, 2 or 3 comments. Like, it's not much interest. He's not going around killing a bunch of high school cheerleaders. You know?
Sad but true.
Yeah, but that is tonight's story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you haven't subscribed, you better do so right now because we got some great episodes coming up. And also go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/something. What is it? Talk Murder Me or something?
/TM2M podcast.
TM2M podcast, something like that. Find us there. Follow us. Nicole is the meme queen.
I am.
She gets billions of shares on her memes.
I do.
And they're super funny. But anyway, that is all we got for tonight. So thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that subscribe button on whatever podcasting app you use. If you like this story, you can follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you're absolutely obsessed with this podcast and want to become our Volga Maniac, go to talkmurder.com/join. Become a Talko Supremo. Get a badass t-shirt, sticker, swag, a lot of love, shout it out all over the place. Tell me what story you want me to do. I'll research it and I'll dedicate it to you right here on the Talk Murder Me podcast. My name is John, here with Nicole. And until next time, good night, you lovely, lovely, lovely people.